Welcome back. Now we are going to dive into the fascinating world of SQL injection and explore the different types of attacks at the code level. Today our focus is on the classic SQL injection attack. Alright, let's start with the classic SQL injection attack. In this type of attack, the attacker takes advantage of vulnerabilities in the application's input validation or sanitization process. They manipulate the user input, aiming to inject malicious SQL code into the web application's query. It's like sneaking a Trojan horse into the system. The attack type is all about manipulating user input to inject that malicious SQL code. And what's the objective behind it? You ask? Well, the attacker wants to achieve a few things. That they might seek to modify the SQL query logic, bypass authentication mechanism, or even extract sensitive data from the database. So how does this classic SQL injection attack exploit vulnerabilities? It all comes down to the lack of proper input validation or sanitization, or the direct concatenation of user input into the queries. See the vulnerable code. Here we can see that the user input for the username and password is directly concatenated into the SQL query. This is a classic vulnerability. An attacker could inject their own SQL statements into the input fields, causing the query's behavior to change in unexpected ways. Now let's dive deeper and imagine an attack and injection payload in action. Suppose an attacker enters the following input as the username. This will be copied in this query. The injected payload starts with the single quote, this, which closes the opening single quote for the username parameter. You can see that. The or 1 equals to 1, this part of the payload introduces a new condition. In SQL, 1 equals to 1 is always true. So the injected condition 1 equals to 1 will be evaluated as a true. The semicolon separates the injected payload from the remaining part of the original query. And the double dash is a comment symbol in SQL. It instructs the database to ignore everything after it, effectively ignoring the remaining part of the original query. In our case, the password is ignored. When this input is concatenated into the SQL query, it transforms like this. Select star from users, where username equals to nothing and or 1 equals to 1, which is always true. Have you noticed how the attacker's payload has altered the query logic? The condition 1 equals to 1 always evaluates as a true, so it effectively bypasses the authentication check. The double dash is used to comment out the remaining part of the query, preventing any potential errors. By injecting carefully crafted payloads, attackers can gain unauthorized access to sensitive information or even modify data in the database. Sneaky, right? So we have learned classic SQL injection at the code level and how it works. In our next lesson, we will continue our journey and uncover more types of SQL injection attacks. So stay tuned and keep that cybersecurity spirit alive. Until then, happy learning and stay curious.